Arizona is a swing state in the 2020 election, and though the state has a long history of voting for the GOP, Arizona has voted Republican in almost every election since 1952. The state voted for the Democrats in the 1996 election, handing the victory to Bill Clinton.
But first, Democratic State Senator Katie Hobbs joins us to talk about her run for Secretary of State, Arizona's top elections official and first in line to succeed the governor should that office become vacant. She's been a social worker for 25 years. And it's been 12 years since a Democrat won a statewide office. It has been 25 years since a Democrat was Secretary of State. How would a Democrat do that job differently?
Well, what I have said the entire campaign that I want to do is make sure that every single eligible voter, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, has the ability to participate in the process. And I don't think that's happening right now. And I want to work to make sure that our elections are secure, fair, and efficient, and that every eligible voter has a voice.
How will you assure voters, though, that you are nonpartisan, that this is not about getting more Democrats elected? Because, you know, these offices have become weaponized.
Absolutely. The Secretary of State's office should be the most nonpartisan office that we elect. The person who oversees our elections needs to be neutral and not take a side. And I will work really hard to take the politics out of the Secretary of State's office and make sure that there is fairness and that every single eligible voter has the ability to participate.
America has taken tremendous strides when it comes to expanding opportunity for women, but our fight is far from over. Women still earn less than men on the job. Many women still face barriers to entering and advancing in the workforce, and the ability of women to make their own health decisions is under assault. Hillary Clinton believes that issues that affect women's lives are not just women's issues. They are family issues, they are economic issues, and they are crucial to our future competitiveness. Women in America need a president who is more than an ally. We need a fighter.
The Secretary of State's office should be the most nonpartisan office that we elect. The person who oversees our elections needs to be neutral and not take a side.
The person who oversees our elections needs to be neutral and not take a side. I will work really hard to take the politics out of the Secretary of State's office and make sure that there is fairness.
Katie Hobbs, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we have not had a member of the Democratic Party as Secretary of State in many years. This is a big deal for you to win this seat.
Yeah.
How do we take some of that partisanship out of the administration of elections and just making sure that elections are conducted fairly?
Yeah, I mean, it is really a job that should be nonpartisan and need to be focused on making sure that every single eligible voter can vote, make sure that that's done in a secure manner, people's data is protected, we're keeping out any fraudulent actors, and that's not a partisan thing.
What is it about President Trump's comments yesterday that startled you? Because clearly you voiced your concern in this letter now to Attorney General Brnovich.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily that his comments startled me. I think his comments laid bare the intent of interfering with the elections by undermining the resources and services that the Postal Service provides.
What are you asking the Attorney General to do?
So Arizona state law 16-1003 makes it a crime to knowingly delay the delivery of a ballot. And it seems really clear that that is what the president is trying to do. And so we're asking for an investigation. The Attorney General's office has an election integrity unit, and this seems like something that they should be investigating.
Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich responding to a letter from Secretary of State Katie Hobbs, which had called for a criminal investigation into the Postal Service, which the AG's office called purely speculative and suggested that Secretary Hobbs was spreading misinformation. There would be no investigation moving forward.
The Secretary of State's office should be the most nonpartisan office that we elect.
I've been a federal prosecutor, I've been a state prosecutor. I've spent most of my career putting bad people in prison or jail, trying to protect our communities. I understand the power of the criminal justice system. What we don't need to do is politicize it. We don't need to criminalize political differences. And that's what I worry about what's going on in this country. When we have policy disagreements, whether it's about funding or the scope of the federal government, now immediately everyone wants to put someone in prison or investigate that. And those are serious allegations. Those are serious concerns. So We did our due diligence. We looked at the original complaint. There was no complaints in Arizona regarding postal service delivery during the recent primary. There was some allegations in the secretary's original letter about the postmaster conspiring with the president. And the reality is that, here, if you look at the structure of the United States Postal Service, the postmaster doesn't report to the president. He reports to the Board of Governors.
You do believe the president then is trying to interfere with the election?
He said so yesterday. It doesn't matter what I think. He said yesterday, and I think reiterated it today, that if the Postal Service is disrupted, people won't be able to vote by mail.
The Secretary of State's office should be the most nonpartisan office that we elect.
Had this letter to your office been worded differently, maybe say, had President Trump's name been mentioned or not been mentioned at all, is this something that you would have looked at in case rights are going to be compromised in November?
Is you go where the evidence takes you. But what you don't do is make stuff up or throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see what sticks. And so you have to have something that's actually a crime under Arizona law, and then you have to have some evidence or facts substantiate that the crime may have been committed.
In 2018, we had 4 races that were Republicans were ahead on election night. And when we started counting these early ballots after election day, those 4 races swung to the Democratic candidate, my race included.
And I think what you guys are going to see tonight, we expect some more votes to be dumped in Arizona a little bit later tonight and then again after midnight. So as this narrows, there is going to be great pressure on you guys, to be honest with you, Fox News, to rescind your call. It was a premature call. We were livid about the fact that you and then the AP made that call. There are 7 organizations that call states on election night from time to time, 7. 5 of those 7 did not make that call.
Let's bring in the Secretary of State from Arizona. You are the person in one of the 50 states who can speak to how this works. So your reaction to the president, who we've broken away from, making that claim, are you aware of any illegal votes that are being counted in your state? How would you give viewers and citizens the facts tonight in contrast to what we heard?
Absolutely not. There are not illegal votes being counted in the state of Arizona, and probably not anywhere. I don't know any of my colleagues across the country who would allow illegal votes to be counted in their states. And so honestly, this kind of disinformation really just makes our jobs harder. A big part of our jobs is working to help ensure the integrity of the elections and maintaining the public's trust in that. And when people like the president undermine that, it undermines this entire democratic institution. It is extremely frustrating, but we are doing our jobs here in Arizona and continuing to count all of the legal ballots, and we'll do that until we're done.